Okay guys, I hope you can hear me. What's up? It's Dakota. Welcome to another video. That's my cat. There's Sophie. A white wall cat. Sophie, come here. Okay, she's not coming. Anyway, so yeah, I'm upstairs. It feels like I'm sitting on the ground. It's because I am sitting on the ground because this is literally the best lighting I could come up with at the moment. But for today's video, we are talking about things from your childhood you forgot. So this is more like 90s kids. So before we get started, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell because God only knows that I'm going to make another video because I have commitment issues and I have figured that out. I want to say we have some groundbreaking news, everybody. Get ready. We have made it to 17 subscribers. Who would have thought 17 people would subscribe? It's amazing. Like, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the first thing we're going to talk about are these things. You would be so hot and you would be at daycare or something and they would have the great idea to take you to like a water park or whatever, and you would go outside. Again, it would be hot like it is here in South Carolina right now. If it's hot where you are, let me know. The heat index here is 103. I'm pretty sure South Carolina is where hell is going to open up when, you know, the rapture happens. This was like the weird fountain thing that looks like a mushroom that kids would sit under and be like,
oh my god, we're in a magical parallel universe.
You know, and they're probably just peeing around it. I don't know. Really weird concept. So yeah, I don't think I ever played under one of these before. I would rather swim than just sit under a magic mushroom. Okay, so the second thing we're going to talk about, this involves PE class, and I sucked at PE class. I couldn't catch a football. I still to this day probably couldn't throw a football. Honestly, when we were playing dodgeball, I would just run to the front to grab a ball, but then let somebody hit me, because if we were in that close proximity, the force from their ball hitting me wouldn't be as painful as if they just like chugged it at my head, which they like to do sometimes. But anyway, it is this thing which is called the Sit and Reach Trunk Flexibility Assessment Testing Box. So basically you would like sit on the box. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Oh. So basically you would like sit on the box and then you have to like lunge forward, but your feet are stagnant. Is that the word? Stationary. They're pressed against the box basically. And you have to just lunge forward. The stupidest thing I have ever seen in my life. And I remember like that was I knew that was going to be the only thing that I would be good at. So I gave that my all. That was literally the only thing I was good at in PE. Man, it sucks. I hated high school, even though that wasn't high school. So the next thing we have, I had one of these things, and it was, I don't know why I thought this was a great trade-off. So I wanted fish, and I had had fish previously, but I got rid of them, and then I wanted fish again. And instead of having real fish, my mom convinced me to get this thing. This thing. It is a tube of water with a little bubble apparatus at the bottom, and you put the fish in there, and you know the bubbles start, and then the fish are just like bobbling up and down. But you know, eventually the water started getting kind of gross. We just threw it out. I think I actually put like real fish in there. I went to we have a creek in our backyard, and it was either a crawfish or something. I put it in there, and I guess they found out about it because I think it had died, and we just basically threw the whole thing away. The next one, oh my goodness, okay, so when I was making this video, I was trying to come up with things that nobody else has talked about. And this, when I thought of this, I was just like, oh my gosh, because I would play this all the time. Because like I said, I had to go to daycare because I didn't ride the bus home. I would go to daycare, and literally daycare was like purgatory. But the game MASH, and it looks like this. So if you've never played MASH before, it's basically like a fortune telling, what did I just say? Fortune telling game. Anyway, but you would write MASH, and it would be like, you know, mansion, apartment, shack, or house. You start drawing a little spiral thing, like, oh, I need to draw this out. Oh shit, I don't have a pencil, I have a pastel. At MASH, you can't read that, but anyway, you would draw a spiral, or you wouldn't draw it, but somebody would be drawing it. So you had 4, but before, so you pick like 4 different names of like people. You know, once you may have like anyway, you should know how to play MASH. If you don't know how to play MASH, or you've never played it, look up how to play MASH. So that was MASH. I remember playing that a lot in daycare because that's all we had to do in our daycare. Yeah, it was either that or play in a sandbox that you would most likely get some kind of like disease from, because I'm pretty sure there were kids who, you know, shit in the sandbox and then, you know, sculpted with it, because that was the daycare I went to. Okay, so my camera died, and by camera I mean phone. Where were we at? Oh, the park tic-tac-toe. So, you know, it's kind of a stupid one, but here's a memory of park tic-tac-toe, or playground tic-tac-toe. But all I remember is there would be one random kid, and he's just sitting there, and he's spinning it as fast as he can. And I would just be sitting there like,
are you okay?
the second one. Okay, so we all remember the second one. This is not the second one. 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th one. So I think we all remember elementary school lunches, high school lunches, middle school lunches. They all sucked. Like, we went on that health food craze by the time I got to high school, and literally almost starved to death. I just started packing my lunch. Thank you, Michelle Obama. The best thing, which still wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but the best thing, were these guys. The Minute Maid popsicles. They were okay. They weren't amazing, you know. I mean, it's basically what it sounds like. It's literally frozen grape juice, and you would just suck on frozen grape juice. What does that even say? Oh, okay. So going back to elementary school, we all remember the librarian. And I don't know if y'all had like library days, but we would have days where we actually had to go to the library and read. I made that sound like it was the worst thing ever. But the one story I remember her reading that I was just like, thank you, was the true story. Was it the true story? The true story of the 3 little pigs. So basically it's the 3 little pigs story, but it's told in a wolf's perspective. And he says that he was really never trying to eat them. No, he ended up killing them because he was actually just looking for a cup of sugar. It was a whole thing. But I mean, basically he ends up eating the 3 little pigs. But anyway, I love that story because I was like, finally, we get to hear the wolf's perspective on things. And I must say, I'm pretty sure he just flat out murdered them. So the last one, I remember this so freaking well. Again, elementary school age, I think. Maybe it was definitely elementary school because I was at daycare and a chick had one. And I wanted one so bad. The Firefly cell phones. And like, I don't even think you could text on them. I think you could put in 3 numbers, your mom, your dad, and like 911. But, you know, it could change like, and this is before like smartphones, obviously, and before like, you know, what were the cool razors? Was that one? I don't even know. I didn't have one of those. But anyway, I just had like the really ugly ass flip phone with a 4-foot antenna. That was my first cell phone, and that didn't help me in school either. It had like all these list of effects, and they talked it up so well. I would walk through Walmart and I would see just like the wall of Firefly cell phones. Like, get your Firefly cell phone. I mean, it was like a kid's toy almost. I mean, yeah, you could make calls on it, but I remember just seeing like children just like on them, like, oh my god, look, I got a Firefly cell phone. And, you know, I don't know, I just really wanted one and never got one. Yeah, that's basically it for this video. That's all I have. If you want to see more, I can try to pick my brain for more things. I try to come up with a video that, or things from from my childhood that I feel like haven't really been discussed already by everybody else doing videos like this. So yeah, thanks, I guess. Y'all have a great day. Why do I not have an upper lip? I've been on Instagram a lot. I've been on YouTube a lot. I've been on TikTok a lot, and I need to delete that app because I swear I either get on super political something, it's either super political, somewhat funny, or it's a bunch of people dancing and they're like air humping. Like, what is going on with that? Like, nobody wants to see your little ding-a-ling bouncing around in your pants, okay? And if it's only going like that, you don't need to be showing that off, okay? Anyway, and like, I don't know, like, go start an OnlyFans or something. But anyway, today's video is that. Cool.